Good morning, everyone. I'm Nick Reagan. This is 5 on 5 Plus. It's 5 minutes of local news and headlines right here from our First Alert desk. Now, we've got a lot of new information to get to, so let's start with this here. Just into our newsroom, Charleston police have made 2 arrests in a West Ashley shooting that left 1 person dead. They say this man, 18-year-old Antonio Flood Jr., and an unnamed 16-year-old have been charged with murder and attempted armed robbery, among other charges. The shooting happened around 9 on Saturday at the Ashley Oaks Apartments on Ashley Hall Plantation Road. When officers arrived, they found 31-year-old Colin Potter in a car with a gunshot wound. They were transported to the hospital but later died. Right now, Flood is scheduled to have a bond hearing right now. He is expected to remain behind bars out of that bond hearing. We also have some new information at this hour about a train versus car crash that happened late last night. 24-year-old Billy Branham has been identified as the driver of an SUV that was hit by an Amtrak train. He died around 1 this morning from his injuries. South Carolina Highway Patrol tell us that the crash happened just after 10 last night on Highway 52 at Medway Road. Troopers tell us an SUV was traveling west when it tried to cross the tracks, but was hit by the Amtrak train. We also now know the name of the person who was killed in a deadly crash on Highway 52 in Moncks Corner yesterday. Berkeley County coroner says 80-year-old Clifford Powell was attempting to cross the highway when he was struck by a vehicle. Now, law enforcement is investigating this crash. Also new at this hour, an investigation is underway after a man was shot in the head at a Colleton County apartment complex on Sunday. Colleton County Fire Rescue responded to Hillcrest Apartments on Snyder Highway around 8:30 Sunday. Firefighters said at least 1 apartment had been hit several times by gunfire. A man was hit with what is believed to be a glancing blow to the head. That's according to firefighters. Now, the man's bleeding was controlled at the scene, but he was still taken to the hospital. Authorities tell us that they believe the shooter is still at large. All right, well, let's take a look now as temperatures begin to drop. Let's check in with your First Alert weather team.
Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Chris Holtzman here. We are tracking cooler temperatures today. In fact, temperatures will be in the 60s, and we'll see a mix of sun and clouds. We had a cold front cross our area overnight. That's why temperatures today are in the 60s, and we are tracking a dry day. We're not seeing any rain, and that's because we have high pressure to our north. So you will need to bundle up this morning, and we are tracking temperatures a bit more comfortable for the afternoon. But Future Tracker shows clouds will continue to stream in from the southwest, and we are looking at temperatures for tonight back in the 40s. We have another cold front that will cross our area overnight. That drops temperatures into the 50s on Wednesday and Thursday. And then look at those overnight lows where eventually we're in the 30s for Thursday morning and Friday morning.
All right, now before we get to our next story, we do want to warn you that the video here is graphic and may be disturbing to some of you out there, but we are reporting on an incident that appears to show a Charleston County deputy who is apparently beating a suspect that he's arresting. He has been fired and charged with assault, but let's take a look at that body camera footage now.
Get out. Down. Get out. Down, dude. You take quit reaching in your waistband. Quit reaching in your waist.
Now, this is that video showing Deputy James Hank Carter hitting Richard Duncan in the head multiple times. This all stems from an October 21st incident where officials say Carter was chasing Duncan for a failure to stop for blue lights charge. Carter was terminated and charged with assault and misconduct in office. He was granted bond last week. Duncan's lawyer, Richard Duncan, the man you see there being arrested, his lawyers say that this video, it speaks for itself.
What took place was probably one of the most egregious examples of excessive force that I've personally witnessed in law enforcement, short of someone taken alive.
Now, the officers' lawyers, they have also commented on this situation, in part saying an officer's use of force is not always pretty in the eyes of the general public, but that does not make the conduct unlawful. Officers are forced to make split-second decisions as to the necessary level of force in intense situations, especially when attempting to subdue a non-compliant known violent criminal who is endangering the public, running from police, and refusing to obey commands. Sheriff Kristen Graziano, she also released a statement when this body camera video came out, saying that they investigated quickly and they moved to fire the deputy almost immediately.
We are responsible for who works at our agency and who represents us in this community. Our agency and law enforcement in general has no tolerance, zero tolerance for the kind of behavior that was witnessed on that body camera.
We're also learning that Carter's supervisor, Timothy Carroll, was also demoted for his part in reviewing and reporting the footage. Well, that's a look at what's happening around the Low Country. This has been 5 on 5 Plus. I'm Nick Reagan. Thank you so much for joining me.